What you're affected by is your choice. I want to get Ivo to explain this in more detail because I believe it's a lesson we all need to learn. And I mean it when I write it, what you're affected by is your choice. You can react to everything or you can react to nothing. Granted, there are influences on your consciousness that perhaps will lead you to get mired in some pit of negativity that perhaps you'd rather not get mired in. I was talking to one person yesterday and felt very depressed, then another person came along who tends to be a lot happier, and then I felt a lot happier. Such is the plight of the empathy. Hanging around with depressives will get you down. The empathy always has to know what mood is truly theirs and what mood could be caught from another person, like a cold. When you feel so deeply upset, is that typical of the level of your upset, or do you feel like you really have reason to be that upset? Be careful too, because you will tend to rationalize your moods, come up with explanations for them. And they might not even be yours. Like for me, thinking, oh yeah, I'm bummed out because I can't be with Ivo, or, this really sucks to be in this situation with the advancing agenda right now. You could be rationalizing this, but at other times it doesn't even bother you. It's best to figure out how you really feel about these things, and then understand that any change of your emotions around it could be external influences, especially if you're in empathy. Right now, as we jump timelines and are continually bombarded by negative energies, it seems we can have any number of opinions on the same subject. How can that be? I just learned that the QFS and the fiat systems will run concurrently for up to a 10-year period of time. None of us really expected that. We figured the fiat system would implode, but it doesn't seem to be about to do that, more like petering out really. Ivo has said, there will be two systems, and obviously this is what he meant. I knew the systems would run concurrently, but I didn't think for as long as 10 years. So stop getting frustrated at people who won't wake up, folks, because they've got 10 years to change their mind, if they ever do. What I believe will happen is there will be third, fourth, and fifth dimensions all interacting, as they are now, until such time the fifth splits off, call it the event if you will, and the real timelines split away from the artificial timelines. Today I saw my neighbor go and check out the back of my car. I have my bumper stickers about the stopping the DS, and my signs in the back window about lockdown. I know she's a hater, so I saw her look, read it, and walk away. So obviously now she has fuel for her hater fires. I have two choices. I can engage her on this or just laugh and walk away if she ever confronts me. You don't have to take a stand. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to stick up for yourself. Everybody doesn't have to understand you. As long as you understand yourself, the people who get you will get you. This is an example of what I believe is either engaging 3D or just letting it be. What you are affected by is your choice. Ivo, correct, my love. She did look at the back of your car, which at times is more entertaining than a highway billboard out in the country, and she can react in whatever way she desires. You saw her doing this and you do not need to defend yourself. In fact, defending yourself is a precursor to attacking others. If you do not see the logic in this, then imagine a battle of swordsmen. Both begin in a defensive posture, however, eventually one launches an attack. You must learn to drop the personalization of others' behaviors. Many of you become defensive when you have parents who violated your boundaries, and Sheran is no exception. She asks herself, what does this mean to me? Perhaps it can mean nothing. Our point is, when you continue to engage the third dimensionals, you will lower your frequency to that level. Sheran is on YouTube, disregarding one video after the next. She sees puppy videos, and videos that she feels are too young for her. They have to do with a segment of society she does not relate to. She sees spiritual videos which she enjoys and feels engaged by, videos of the masters which she has added to her list if you wish to view them as well. Sheran is seeking something that will help raise her frequency higher, because that is the goal of all when you engage your physical world, whether you understand that or not. You look for something either that will help you understand your emotions, that perhaps will put your emotions into words for you. You may look for something humorous, and if the humor is suitable it will raise your frequency. You look for spiritual information because information is light and taking on more light will raise your frequency. And this is another point that exemplifies what is your choice as well. Some of you listening were born in the 1950s, some in the 1960s, some in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and so on. You look for videos or information on YouTube that you feel relates to you, particularly in the first 10 years of your life, as they were the most formative years. So Sheran loves the hippies because they were the big deal in the 60s, as well as their music, which she finds to be so artistic. Their message of peace and love she resonates with as well. And their attempts to change society and to gain power of self. The hippies stood for all of these things and more. Those who were born in the 70s then perhaps relate to the 1970s as your main development period. You see the broody darkness of the 70s which overshadowed the 60s, you remember perhaps political developments, inadequate technology, terrorist attacks, and the continued emancipation of women as themes near and dear to your hearts. Still, those born in the 1980s will remember the music because it was so different than anything previously recorded. Synth pop and bands with colored haircuts, makeup, and a generation of people screaming to be different, screaming to be heard and wanting to stand up and be recognized. Yes, the me generation. We are making a point. And that point is, you were born at the particular point in time that you were because you came to influence the timelines of Earth at that time. And because the issues that were relevant at the time you were young, still learning about life, affected you so gravely, this is your contribution to the all of humanity upon Earth. You came at that time to affect the collective unconscious regarding those issues. Whether you realize it or not, you were born then in order to create change. The crystal children were born en masse in the 1980s. The indigos made a comeback in the 80s and 90s, and this is because Earth was in need of your energy specific to what societal issues were being played out at the time. It stands to reason that the part of Earth you incarnated into, be it the West or the East, the North or the South, was where you felt you could create the most beneficial change. So you chose to be affected by the societal issues you were surrounded by in the first 10 or so years of your life. These years gave you a sense of purpose, and this was your first experience of life, and that includes the family circle as well, and so this is what you came to affect. And it is still the case. What you allow yourself to be affected by is your choice. Always. You can say no to whatever you feel you do not want to engage. Understand that if you have been arrested by a police person, that you subconsciously made that choice to have that experience. It stands to reason that, this being the case, it is best to make all of your subconscious conscious, because unless you do, you may find yourself being pulled over and arrested for some reason. That is why we say to do your shadow work. The more of yourself you make conscious, the more of yourself you will have control over, and this include matrix inputs as well. When you take back control of your subconscious, you dissolve implants and take over control of your own mind. You feel more free. You release bad habits. You stop attracting many things that have plagued you throughout your life. You can observe what is going on around you, or you can participate in what is going on around you, willingly, perhaps by sending it white light energy to heal it. Or you can be pulled in by loose ends you have not dealt with that are still unconscious. It is your choice. Me, thanks Ivo. Ivo, my love, you are feeling well today. The sun is back. Me, yes, got my vitamin G, the God vitamin, my physical connection to God. My spiritual connection to God is white light coming through the crown and through Sigrid, my God self, but the physical sun always helps to animate my body and get it moving again. That's my physical God connection, and with so much dark energy on our planet, I'm happy to roast in the sun for an hour every chance I get. No suntan lotion, either. That's the evil elixir of the Illuminati. Both my brother and mother got skin cancer on their faces, and I remember that my mother always put suntan lotion on her face.